Have you ever looked at a product and wondered, what did it actually cost to make this? Not the price tag, but the real, nitty-gritty cost. Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into two super important ideas in manufacturing: prime costs and conversion costs. And trust me, understanding these isn't just for accountants. It's the secret sauce for running an efficient, profitable business. So, let's get into it.
Just a quick heads up, this breakdown was put together by Dr. Samir Al-Rishani with some help from AI. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with prime costs, then tackle conversion costs. After that, we'll look at the one thing that ties them both together. Then, we'll put them side by side to see the differences, and finally, we'll wrap up with why all of this is a total game changer for any company that makes, well, anything.
Okay, first up, prime costs. The easiest way to think about this is as the core, fundamental cost of making one single thing. We're talking about the stuff you can literally touch in the final product, and the pay for the person who physically put it together. It's all about the expenses you can trace right back to one specific item.
And the formula? It's refreshingly simple. Prime cost is just your direct materials plus your direct labor. Direct materials are the actual ingredients, the wood for a table, the fabric for a shirt. Direct labor is the wage for the person who actually built that table or sewed that shirt. Here's the key. If you can't directly assign an expense to that one product, it's not a prime cost. Period. So why are managers so obsessed with this number? Well, it serves two huge purposes. First, it's a report card on efficiency. Are we wasting wood? Is a particular step taking way too long? And second, this is the big one, it sets the price floor. You absolutely have to sell your product for more than its prime cost. If you don't, you're losing money on every single sale before you even think about other expenses.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's make this real. Imagine we're a furniture maker, and we just got an order to build a custom coffee table. This simple example is going to make the whole idea of prime cost click into place. First, let's look at the direct materials. To build this table, we need some specific lumber, a box of hardware like screws and brackets, and a can of paint. You see? Each one of these things is a physical component that will become part of that finished table. We add it all up, and our total for direct materials comes out to a nice, round $200. Now for the other half, direct labor. Our skilled craftsperson tracks their time, and this specific job takes them exactly 3 hours from start to finish. Their hourly rate is $50. So, a little quick math, and we get a direct labor cost of $150 for this one table. Remember, this isn't their salary for the month. It's the cost of their hands-on work for this single project.
And now we just put the two pieces of our puzzle together. The $200 in materials plus the $150 in labor gives us a total prime cost of $350. And that number is everything. It tells our furniture maker that if they sell this table for anything less than $350, they are literally paying the customer to take it away. Pricing has to start above that number.
All right, you've got prime costs down. Now let's shift gears and look at the second big concept. I want you to zoom out. We're no longer looking at that one coffee table. Instead, we're pulling the camera back to see the entire workshop, the whole factory floor. This is the world of conversion costs. It's not about the product, it's about the cost of the process that creates the product. So, conversion costs are all the expenses you rack up turning raw materials into finished goods. And the formula here is direct labor plus something new: manufacturing overhead. And wait a second, did you catch that? Direct labor is back again. This time, though, it's teamed up with all those background costs needed to run the factory itself. So what the heck is manufacturing overhead? Well, it's all the stuff that's absolutely essential, but that you just can't pin on one single coffee table. Think about it. The electricity to run the saws, the salary for the shift supervisor who oversees everybody, the regular maintenance on the machines to keep them from breaking down. All of these are critical costs of production, but they support the entire operation, not just one unit. Now, the reason for tracking this number is totally different. Managers use conversion costs to go on a treasure hunt for waste in the whole system. Is our electricity bill mysteriously high this quarter? Are we spending a fortune on equipment repairs? By digging into the overhead costs, they can find inefficiencies in the process and figure out how to operate a leaner, smarter shop. So let's look at a bigger example. Let's say in the month of April, Company A spent $50,000 on the wages of its assembly line workers. In that same month, all their factory overhead, rent, utilities, you name it, added up to $86,000. Simple addition tells us their total conversion cost for April was $136,000. But here's where it gets really powerful. That big number, $136,000, is useful, but what managers really want to know is the cost per unit. So if company A made 20,000 widgets in April, they just divide the total conversion cost by the number of widgets. And bam, they find out it cost them $6.80 to convert the raw materials for every single unit they made. This becomes a vital metric. If it suddenly jumps to $7.20 next month, they know something's wrong and they need to investigate.
Okay, so we have prime costs, all about the product. And we have conversion costs, all about the process. But you probably noticed there was one cost category that appeared in both formulas. This is the key. It's the critical connection that bridges these two powerful ideas.
So just to make sure you're with me, which cost did we see in the prime cost calculation and in the conversion cost calculation? It's the one element that lives in both worlds, the world of the product and the world of the process. You got it. It's direct labor. And when you stop and think about it, this makes perfect sense, right? The money you pay someone to build a table is obviously a direct cost of that table. That's what makes it a prime cost. But at the very same time, that person's work is a fundamental part of the factory's process of turning a pile of wood into a finished product. And that's what makes it a conversion cost. It rightfully has a foot in both camps. Okay, now that we know the parts and the piece that connects them, let's put them right next to each other. The best way to think about this is not as rivals, but as two different lenses. A manager uses both of these lenses to get a complete picture of their business, and both are aimed at the exact same goal, being more efficient and more profitable.
And this table just lays it all out. On the prime cost side, you've got materials plus labor. Its job is to help you set prices. Its focus is super narrow, one single unit. Then on the conversion cost side, you have labor plus overhead. Its job is to help you find waste. Its focus is broad, the entire production process. They ask different questions, but together they give you the answers you need to run the business.
Now, this is a huge, flashing warning sign. It is so tempting to just add your prime cost to your conversion cost to get the total cost. But you can't do that. You absolutely cannot. Why? Because you would be counting direct labor twice. It would completely distort your numbers and lead you to make some really terrible business decisions based on faulty data. So just don't do it. So let's bring this all home. We've talked definitions, formulas, and examples. But let's get to the bottom line. Why should a busy manager or a business owner actually care about separating costs this way? Why does it really matter?
Okay, if you only remember a few things from this, make it these. 1. Prime costs are all about pricing. 2. Conversion costs are all about efficiency. 3. Direct labor is the bridge that connects them. When you master both of these concepts, you get this incredibly clear 360-degree view of your business. And that clarity is what lets you price smarter, budget better, and constantly improve your processes.
And to finish, I'll leave you with a little thought experiment to chew on. Imagine a factory decides to go all in on automation. They replace every single assembly line worker with state-of-the-art robots. Based on what we've just discussed, what would happen? Which cost category would practically disappear, and which one would absolutely skyrocket? Thinking through that really shows why these concepts are so vital for understanding business, not just today, but long into the future.